Alright, what's on people, Ringworld Map here, and today we're gonna talk about Shakur Stevenson versus, who's the guy again? Shakur Stevenson versus Edwin De Los Santos, and this is a fight which I actually slept on. I thought it was gonna be a one-sided fight, but I did watch some rounds of Edwin De Los Santos, and now I get what people are saying, right? I get why people believe that this is gonna be an upset. So, I'm just gonna tell you guys my thoughts on it, some of the things that I see, which can potentially make this a close fight. And then ultimately, in the end, I'm gonna tell you guys my prediction. So let's get right into this, alright? So the first thing we're gonna see with Jamil Herring or with Shakur Stevenson is that he's very vulnerable to the jab if you know how to give him multiple looks. So as you can see here, Herring will start off with jab coming from the waist, so he pulls back. He allows Shakur to come in, and that jab was able to graze him, right? And this is not only evident in orthodox or in southpaw versus southpaw matchups. This wasn't only evident in the fight where he fought a southpaw. This is also evident when he fought Oscar Valdez, for example, who's an orthodox. We saw how he got hit with a lot of right hands. If you know how to throw that shot without any wasted motion, without any telegraphing, and if you know how to throw it in multiple positions, he is hittable with the right hand. Whether it might be the southpaw jab or the orthodox right hand, we have seen how he gets caught with this shot time and time again. So let's see another one here. For this one, he threw it actually from the chest. So a while ago he threw it from the waist, now he throws it from the chest, and he throws it like a power jab. He kind of leans forward on the front foot, and then he was able to land that shot once again. Although it's not super clean, he was able to push Shakur back. And if we look at Edwin De Los Santos has a pretty good jab. He knows how to throw it from the waist, he knows how to throw it from the high guard. So this is gonna be a pretty good strategy to use against Stevenson, right? You don't have to waste a lot of time trying to knock him out. All right, I think De Los Santos has the skills to keep up with Shakur. I'm not sure how long though. I'm not sure for how long, but he has the skills to compete with Shakur. Alright, let's get that shit straight. If you don't agree with that, you should watch Edwin De Los Santos a little bit more. And I do understand some of the arguments. Oh, he has fought a lower level opponents. Well, that's the thing. How can you prove that he can keep up with the big boys if you don't allow him to fight the big boys? And this is one of the fights where he can prove that, where he can get to prove that to all of us, right? So the next thing we're gonna look at is gonna be that rear hook. So Shakur likes to throw that rear hook as well around the guard of his opponent. And how he likes to do this, how he likes to set this up, is that he allows you to square up first. Look how quick that is. Guys, I'm playing this in normal fucking speed, and I can't even catch up, you know? And then again there, a rear hook, a lead rear hook, and then a 1-3, and then a rear hook to finish that combination off too. Okay, so let's see another one here. One, a jab to the body, and then a rear hook up top. Again, if we look at Edwin De Los Santos, he has a habit of actually blading from that southpaw stance. Kind of similar to Shakur too, but Shakur is just a lot harder to hit, in my opinion. He's a lot harder to hit than Edwin De Los Santos. He doesn't open himself up too much, doesn't get himself in wild positions as much as Shakur or as much as Edwin De Los Santos. And so if anybody's gonna benefit from this particular punch, it's gonna be Shakur, because Edwin De Los Santos' guard is kind of all over the place at times. He likes to give you multiple looks, and he likes to blade a lot from that stance too, without moving back, alright? Shakur likes to blade too, but he likes moving back. He knows how to step back. He knows how to get out of range. Edwin De Los Santos just kind of sits there. He allows you to, or he relies on his upper body movement to evade those punches. So if Shakur can place these punches well, he's gonna land a lot of them, you know, and especially this particular punch, this rear hook. So let's see another example here. Again, jab to the body, rear hook. We've already seen that shit. Okay, so let's look at the jab based on the head movement of his opponent. One of the skills which Shakur really exhibits well is gonna be that jab based on where your head is. Alright, so he knows exactly where his opponent's head is gonna be. Not a lot of fighters know how to do this. Whenever they face somebody with great head movement, they miss their jabs a lot. They don't know where the head is gonna go, where the opponent's head is gonna go. Shakur does a great job of reading where his opponent's head is gonna go, and that was exhibited in this fight against Herring. So as you can see here, Herring will try to slip inside, and then Shakur was able to catch him right there. Alright, so let's see that one more time. Herring will throw that jab. He actually pivoted out already. He didn't move his head, but he pivoted out. So you assume that the angle's already safe. But that change in the angle didn't really affect Shakur. He still landed that jab, and he was able to predict where Herring was gonna go. So again here, he slips inside. The first one was a miss. The first jab right here is a miss. He actually missed it. So Herring was able to slip that, but the second one, it grazed him, right? And that shows you that, yes, Shakur might miss the first jab, but on the second one, he knows where your head is gonna be already. So it's gonna be too late. You have to get out of range. You have to get out of distance if you want to dodge those jabs by Shakur Stevenson. So again here, you're gonna see Herring trying to move his head again. He's gonna try to move his head, slip, and then Shakur was able to recognize that he likes to slip inside a lot, so that's where he threw his jab. Every time he did that, he was able to graze the face of Herring, and again they're 1-3-2. So another great skill which we'll see from Shakur Stevenson is gonna be that is gonna be combining his left straight with his rear hook. And what does that do? That gives their opponent multiple punches to try and defend from the same side. And when you do that, it's a lot harder for them to really set their guard, to really block your punches, because you're throwing from the center, and you're also throwing it you're also throwing it at their side. So let's see exactly how he does that, right? Let's see how he combines it. So here it starts off with the rear hook, and then he follows that up with a 1-3-2. So as you can see there, after that initial rear hook, Herring was kind of cautious about that shot landing again, but then in the end, we see Shakur changing it up and then throwing that left hand straight. So again, Herring was caught off guard when he did that, because he thought it was going to be a rear hook once again. So for this one, it's going to be a straight right hand or a straight left hand first, and then a straight right or a straight left hand and then a rear left hook. I'm not used to these terms because again, it's a southpaw, so every time I name a punch, I'm basing it off of an orthodox fighter, so apologies for messing up on some of the punches or on calling some of the punches. So here you're gonna see that same thing again. It starts off left straight and then a left hook, right? Let's see that once again, left straight and then a left hook, another left hook, or not a left hook right there, but more of a short left. It wasn't really a rear hook. That's the tricky part about these southpaw hooks. You don't really know if it's more of an overhand or a rear hook unless you watch it in slow motion. And then again there, you see how Herring's guard was just broken down. It was just broken down. And I'm not saying that Edwin De Los Santos is a punching bag like Herring was, because obviously De Los Santos has more footwork, De Los Santos has more activity, he has more head movement than Jamil Herring. All I'm saying is that if it comes a time where Edwin De Los Santos gets overwhelmed and he becomes more of a sitting duck, okay, that guard is going to be exploited big time, because Shakur knows how to place those punches in a way that he knows where the openings are and he takes advantage of it every time. No matter how tight your guard is, he knows where the openings are in that guard, okay? So if De Los Santos wants to win this fight, it can be that, well, it can go both ways. First of all, if he boxes and if he circles around, that's his natural style, so I think he's going to be more comfortable with that. But he also has to be prepared to move forward, to press forward, to be on the front foot, because we don't really know what Shakur is going to do, right? He can be a pressure fighter, as we saw in this particular fight, or he can be more of a moving fighter, as we saw in the Oscar Valdez fight. So we don't really know what Shakur, or what version of Shakur we're going to see, okay? Next we're going to look at is going to be the jab hook. So he likes combining that jab with the hook as well. So it's very quick. As you can see, they're very subtle. He throws that jab, he doesn't pull it all the way back, and then he throws the right hook right away. And again, what does that do? Whenever you throw that jab into a hook, so you're gonna see that here, jab, hook, his opponent gets squared up. And when he gets squared up, you're in the line of fire for that final shot, which is the left hook, which is the rear hook, or the left overhand, depends on him. He changes it up every time. So 1, 3, 2 right there. The 3 forces his opponent to square up and open themselves up for that rear hook. So as you can see there, the right side of Herring is very open now for that rear hook, and that's what the right hook is for. The right hook is really meant to push them on the front foot, or to square them up, to force them to square their upper body up so that they can be more open for that rear hook. So you're gonna see that again here, 1, 3, and then finally a 2 there. That 3, or finally an overhand in the end. So that 3, or that right hook, forces his opponent to square up, and then that final overhand is the nail on the coffin for that particular combo, because again, the upper body is squared up already, and that cheek is way closer to the overhand now, or to the rear hook. Again, his choice. Finally, one thing that we see from Edwin de los Santos is that waistband, right? And I think Shakur knows how to deal with this. Shakur knows how to deal with the waistband. He showed it in this particular fight against Herring. Herring likes to bend it at the waist a lot. And again, there's really not much difference between De Los Santos and Shakur in terms of defense. I think they're both sharp defensively, but the only difference is that Edwin De Los Santos tend to be a sitting duck more than Shakur, because he wants to plant his feet. He likes to plant his feet. He likes to sit down on his punches more than Shakur. Shakur's a little more uptight, a little more upright, and he doesn't rely much on his legs in order to load up on those punches. Edwin De Los Santos does. And so as a result of that, he has a tendency to bend at the waist instead of getting out of distance. And that's what you're gonna see here. Okay, Herring has that same habit too, and what happened to him? Shakur was able to place those punches again in a way where it can land while you are bending at the waist, while you are down there. So again, Shakur knows how to place those punches where even if you're down there, it's gonna land. And so you're gonna see that right there. It's a short left. It was a short left. It was so quick that, you know, it's kind of hard to see in normal speed. You're gonna have to play it in slow motion in order to really see it. So again here, let's see how Herring bends at the waist. So he's gonna start off here. Herring's gonna try to bend out the waist. He tries to throw that short left, changes the angle, alright? And then again, as a left hand right there, boom, short left, boom, boom, alright? On the high guard, that rear hook is gonna sneak in either way, because again, he knows how to turn the fist in a way that sneaks through your fucking guard. As you can see there, he turned his fist, actually, he turned his palms down on those particular hooks. So look at this example right here. You turn those hooks in a way where, boom, it's palms down, in a way that is easier to land. Because if you throw it from the palms up, only real boxers will know this shit. You throw that hook from palms up position, it's a lot harder to sneak through the guard. Once you throw it from the palms down position, it's a lot easier to sneak through the guard. You're not really gonna understand this unless you try it, unless you actually box, and you're not just any nerd who likes to sit down, do film studies, and talk as if you're an expert, right? You're gonna know this by actually trying it out. Okay, and that's why Shakur is a really good puncher, because he knows how to change up the trajectory of his punch so that it will land depending on how tight his opponent's guard, or how tight his opponent's guard is. And so here you're gonna see that, but this time it's gonna be a right hook. You're gonna see Herring try to bend at the waist again. Watch how he times that shit perfectly. He didn't even start from that position. He didn't even throw it from the waistband position. He just predicted where Herring's head is gonna be, and then he threw the punch on that particular place, even when Herring's head was not even in that place to begin with. But he knew exactly that he knew that Herring's head is gonna be there eventually, and so he threw it in advance, and then in the end it paid off. Boom, right there. He was able to land that rear, or that right hook, and he was able to land that shot. So let's get into my prediction right now. Okay, again, I do get the hype. I do get the hype with Edwin De Los Santos, because obviously he has that Cuban style, that Dominican Republic style, very slick boxing, you know. He has great defense too, great waistband, or great head movement, I should say, not waistband. Good head movement, pretty good head movement, and he knows how to sit down on his punches. He's actually more powerful. He has more power than Shakur, and he has, well, Shakur has faster hands in my opinion, but in terms of in terms of the weight behind those punches, again, De Los Santos has the edge. He has a better puncher's chance than Shakur. Shakur needs to accumulate those punches in order to really do any damage. De Los Santos has the ability to change a punch or to change a fight with one punch. And so this is going to be an interesting fight, but again, I'm leaning towards Shakur Stevenson. I just think he has more dimensions this game. He has a better ability to adjust mid-fight, and he'll eventually figure out Edwin De Los Santos after a few rounds, In my opinion, it's going to take him a little longer than usual, because again, this Edwin De Los Santos has pretty good Cuban upbringing, not Cuban upbringing. I hate fucking mixing them up, but he has a pretty good upbringing. It's kind of an Olympic style. I'm not really sure what country to refer to, but it's a great Olympic style kind of boxing that he was brought up to. And that's gonna give Shakur some problems in the early rounds, but eventually he's gonna figure them out, and that African American style will prevail. Okay, so that was it. I'll see you guys soon. Subscribe if you're new. And let me know what your prediction is down below in the comment section, because this is actually an interesting fight. It can either be an absolute domination from Shakur, or it can be a big upset for De Los Santos. There's no in between. In my opinion, there's no in between. There's not going to be a close fight. It's either going to be an absolute domination from Shakur, or a big upset, a dominant upset from De Los Santos. So that was it. Peace out. I got Shakur Stevenson via decision. Alright, I don't see him stopping De Los Santos, but I can see him hurting him a few times.